Hi Flosstube, I'm Heather. I also go by Punky Purls on Instagram, Etsy, and also on Ravelry. You could probably Google me. I just did it a few minutes ago and it's weird to see your name pop up in Google, but you can Google me and you could probably find an old blog. Hi Teddy. Hold on one second. So you could probably see we have a visitor. This is Theodore, aka Teddy. He's a 8-month-old mini Australian Shepherd, and the door was cracked so I could hear him not getting in trouble, but he had other ideas, so now he's in here eating a bone. So if you hear that, I'm sorry. So on this episode, for episode number 3, I just want to first thank everybody who's returning, who's new, and who's subscribed to my channel. I never thought anybody would watch these, so I'm pretty excited that people actually are. Let's get to it. So I have a finish. I have an FFO. So here's my FFO. This is Gobble by Stitching with the Housewives. And I finished it on a wood frame that I got from Michael's. It has a binder clip here. And I just put it on some foam core board with some lace, and it's up on my mantle ready for Thanksgiving. I'm gonna have to let him out. Give me one more moment. Hold please. I might have to start again. He does not want to leave, but if he's too much of a mess, I'm gonna have to let him out. But anyways, back to my FFO. I took it out of the frame so you could see it. I just put it on some orange quilting fabric that I had, and then some lace trim around the outside. This one was stitched on 32 count charcoal Belfast, and I don't know, I mean, it came out so cute, but white stitches, they're just not, I don't know, maybe I'm just being picky. I don't know, you tell me, but I guess it looks alright on video, but in real life some of those stitches are a little wonky. Come here, Teddy. Alright, well anyways, so I put it in this frame, which I intend on switching them out. I am going to be stitching quite a few of the Christmas ones from Stitching with the Housewives. They're perfect size. Speaking of that, I did buy a couple, but I'll get to that in haul. Another stitch that I did over the last 2 weeks was my pandemic. I didn't get too many stitches in this. And this one is stitched on 40 count, I want to say mallow. Yes, 40 count mallow linen. It's a huge piece of fabric. My daughter calls it the blanket. You can see it's all wrapped up here. And it's DMC floss number 915, which is a mauve burgundy color. Next, I stitched on, I got a few stitches in it. I don't know, I'm struggling with this one, but it's a Carolyn Manning Designs blue. I love the pattern, but for some reason, I don't know how to count, and I've had to rip out sections of it multiple times. But here's what I have so far. Hold on, gotta get the pin out. It's a sweet little stitch. And the pattern calls for a light fabric, but it also has white floss, so like I said before, I don't know if I'm going to stitch the white, but on some of the things I think I might have to, because they're centers of flowers. I'm still winging it and playing it by ear. Teddy, do you want to go outside? Ay, 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 this dog. Alright, well that's that one. And that one is stitched, it's part of a stitch along. Again, take 15. I swear this dog. Anyways, so what was I saying? Blue Flower Day by Carolyn Manning. It's part of a stitch along for Stitching 911. So the month of November, she started a stitch along where you could pick a Carolyn Manning design, any design. There's no start date. There's no end date. It's just a continuous. And if you go on her Facebook page, you could just post your progress there and also tag your progress, which I'll put at the bottom because I can never remember. I think it's Stitch Manning, but I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, last time I had a lot of corrections and I had to put a lot of notes on the thing, so I'm going to try not to do that, and I'm just going to put the information on the screen for you, so hopefully that works out a little bit better. So that was that stitch. I also got a few stitches in on my Glare of the Sun by Stitches Through the Years. I've had to change a lot of colors, and it's no fault of the designer. It is a fault of me because I picked too light of a fabric, and I wanted the detail obviously to show, so I had to change quite a few things, and I'm not 100% sure if I'm happy with it or not, but here's what I have so far. This is supposed to be like a gold color, but the color of my fabric is hard to see in here because of the light. It's a gloomy day in Washington, go figure. I have to use my above light, so it kind of washes everything out. But the thread here matched the fabric too close, so I couldn't see it. And if you're going to do all these little tiny satin stitches, you kind of want to see your work. So I picked a blue. We'll see what happens. I might just have to scrap it all together, dye this fabric with some tea, or get a darker fabric and start from scratch. But it's a fun stitch. It's really, really fun. In fact, speaking of Stitches Through the Years, there's a free pattern that she's offered. It is gorgeous. I downloaded it already. I'll put that here. And all you have to do is go to her Instagram page, and very generously she offered up a beautiful pattern. So I say head over there if you haven't already downloaded that pattern. And that one's called, I wrote it down for you, let's see. I think it's called Roses, and it's on this really pretty, beautiful linen, like purpley, mauvey, brownie color. I'll put that here. That way you can go over and check her out. Also, go to her Etsy shop. Her patterns, this will be the third pattern. The roses will be the third pattern that I've done for her, from her. And her Etsy shop, the prices are affordable. Her work is gorgeous. The pictures are gorgeous. I'm kind of obsessed. So there was that one. I also got some stitches in on Merry and Bright by the Frosted Pumpkin. And as I said before, I am modeling the little people after my best friend's girls, and it's almost done. This is going to be a Christmas gift. I've also changed colors to because I didn't have the right red, so I had to change the red, but they're pretty close, pretty similar. And this is stitched on take 22 because my daughter jumped in when I was explaining Merry and Bright. So back to Merry and Bright. Merry and Bright is stitched on 28 count Ren by Picture This Plus. It is one of my favorite. I'm so excited that I have at least half of fabric left, so I can do another long piece on it. But once Ren comes back in stock, or I could find it, I'm going to probably buy it in bulk. It is one of my favorites. Pretty neutral, works with a lot of things. So there's Merry and Bright by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. Next, I have, what is this? I have Don't Get Your Tinsel. It is another Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery pattern. I'm using most of the called for flosses. This one right here is a metallic, and it's literally like stitching with tinsel. So, I mean, the effect is gorgeous, and it'll be so nice when it's done, but stitching with it is not fun. I'm using Thread Magic. That's helping a little bit, but trying to thread the needle, if it comes off, is kind of a pain in the keister. But that's also another stitch along. You can go on Frosted Pumpkin's Facebook page. They're having a stitch along with 3 of their... I'm not having a good day today. Now the dog's barking. Maybe today's not my day to record. Anyways, they're having another stitch along, and for 3 of their patterns, you can head over there and there's more details on their Facebook page. I'm gonna have to pause because now he's barking at the door. Oh my goodness. 522. Also, I put on a long sleeve jacket thing because I was getting cold. Where was I? So, this weekend, part of my haul was I went to Stitching with the Housewives Etsy page and I bought sweater weather patterns. So it's going to be a little fox, similar to the turkey that I did, that I finished this week. I don't have very much in, and I am modifying it a little bit. There's supposed to be a snowman right here, but I was afraid it wasn't going to fit on what I chose to finish. This is stitched on 28 count. Just a gray fabric that I dyed myself. My son calls it Misty. No, I lied. He calls it Smoke. I'll show you. This is the... It's hard to see, but it's really nice marbled gray. It's a pretty big piece, so I'm excited about that. And then I also dyed with Evening Blue grit dye. I plan on coffee tea dyeing this to make it a little bit darker because there's another Stitching with the Housewives pattern that I want to do, and it's done on blue. And I'll probably do a couple other things on it too. But speaking of why I ended up having to dye fabric, I ordered fabric from an Etsy shop, and I won't name her because, you know, stuff happens, but back in October, I want to say the 14th, and I haven't received it yet. So I did put a case into Etsy. I did get my money back, so I'm not really complaining. But with that money, I went to Michael's, bought some Monaco that was on sale and some Rit dye, and I dyed it myself because I kind of need the darker fabric to stitch those ornaments for Christmas gifts. I also purchased some fabric that I haven't received yet, and let me know if you've had problems with this company. It's called Cross Stitch Warehouse. It says it's processing, and I understand COVID delays things, but I purchased that on the 21st, and I haven't received it yet, and it still says processing. So I'm trying to contact them to see what the status is of that, but I haven't heard anything yet. So if you've had good or bad experiences with Cross Stitch Warehouse, let me know in the below. I would love to hear. Maybe, like I said, giving them the benefit of the doubt. Things happen. Because the world, you know how it goes. But anyways, so that would have been part of my haul, but it wasn't. It didn't come here. But speaking of haul, I did buy the sweater weather from Stitching with the Housewives, and also I bought Zimmerman by Modern Folk Embroidery, which part of the proceeds goes to a charity, which is awesome. But the pattern is beautiful, and I'm excited to start stitching that one. I just want to get more into Pandemic, the stitch along, or the pattern Pandemic by Long Dog Stamplers, because maybe if I got another page in or 2, I would feel a little bit better about another big pattern, but we'll see. So I'll put that one there too. It's gorgeous. There's also a couple other things for Hub, which are also free patterns. One of them was 2020 Pandemic Sampler, not the Long Dog one, but this one is by Christy Stephenson, or Sarcygurl, SARCYGURL, on Instagram. If you go there and you follow the link to her bio, she has a free download, a sampler. It's really pretty cool too, so you can download that one for free. And there was, speaking of another free, we all know Liz from Hello Liz Matthews. If you're part of her email list, she will send you Merry Christmas gift tag. It's really generous that these people are giving free patterns, but the way she stitched it and took pictures of it and had it printed to make Christmas cards, I thought that was a really awesome idea. I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to do that, but maybe next year I'll do that. super cute. And then the other one I told you that I got that was a free pattern was the Stitches Through the Year Roses, which I had talked about earlier. If I get all these clips in the right order, that was a free download as well. So that's everything for cross stitch. Like I said in my first episode, I don't just cross stitch. I knit, I sew, I do a lot of the things. So if you're only interested for the cross stitch things, you can head off, and I appreciate you visiting. But I do have some hand sewing or English paper piecing to show you if you are interested in doing it. So I'll get to that. Back in 2017, there was a sew along for English paper piecing, and for those of you who don't know what that is you get a piece of paper, you baste the fabric to it, and then you sew the pieces together to make a quilt block, and then eventually you can make a gorgeous quilt. So in 2017, Mr. Domestic and Pat Bravo were doing a stitch along, and I bought the packs of templates so I didn't have to cut them out, because that's the part that takes forever. I obviously start all the things and don't finish all the things, which I've said before, but this week I finished a block and I started a new block. So this is the block that I finished, and I'll show you the back. That's all the papers. So you glue baste them on the paper, and then you sew them together with the whip stitch. So that's the one I finished. And here is the one I started last night. The binder clips are holding pieces ready for me to sew those ones on. I'll take one off. So there's that, and here's the back of that one. I cut that one awful, but I was in a rush because I wanted to get things sewn together. So those are the two that one working on, one I finished, and here's the other blocks if you're interested to see the other ones I finished. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other ones done, and I think it's a total of 13. So maybe I can get them done. So here's a hexie block. This one I think is my favorite. And I just used scraps of fabric from my stash. The colors are going to be red, pink, navy, aqua, green, and yellow. I think this is another one of my favorites. And last but not least, this one right here. So I've been loving stitching those. Last night I was in the mood to watch old 1980s movies. So the kids and I watched, or 2 of my 3 kids and I watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which I've never seen before. But they wanted to see a Thanksgiving movie, and we Googled, and that was the first one that came up. And after Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Big came on, and Big is one of my favorite movies. So they all went to bed, I sat and watched Big, and then after Big was Look Who's Talking. I love that movie. And after that was Overboard, which is another one of my favorite movies. So last night was a good TV chill out night and sit on the couch and sew. So that's what I did. I didn't have to really pay attention. Cross stitch, I kind of had to look at a pattern, but with this one I could just whip stitch along and watch some TV and all my favorite movies. So that was fun. As far as that, I just wanted to show you, I did go to Michael's this weekend, and I was talking about finishing items, and they had doorbusters. So with the What's in My Cup and the little holiday ornaments from Stitching with the Housewives, I'm going to mount them. I got a sleigh, 2 sleighs, and just a wood board. I'm going to pop off the bows and the bells and put a big bow on there or something, but I'm excited about that, so I can get some of these Christmas stitching done and make them into ornaments, and those will be future. So that's my future plans. My other future plans are to finish Don't Get Your Tinsel and finish obviously Sweater Weather, and then they're going to be coming out with more of the little patterns from the Stitching with the Housewives, and I'll be doing that one. And then the other thing, well, I guess I should have put this in the cross stitch area. Frosted Pumpkins Stitch Along, it starts on the 20th, so I'm going to start that one too. So I hope everybody's having a great day. It is a beautiful rainy day here in Washington, typical for this time of year. If you have any questions or any thoughts or feedback, please put it down in the description area. And thanks again for coming and visiting me. Have a good day.